guys, welcome to Stacking the Shelves. And I have the wrong paper here. Hold on. We're going to slide over here and get the right one. Stacking the Shelves for the last few weeks. This includes a Christmas book haul and a whole bunch of review books. I am going to continue to try and do these every month, but I know the last one I did, it was a couple months between. I just explained in my Best Books of December post that we are still running between a house in the Twin Cities in Minnesota and one up in Duluth, and trying to do one on the lot of work on the one in Duluth, and it is the winter and it's been kind of exhausting to try to manage all of that, especially once my son is not in school and is like we're able to spend more time up in the house in Duluth. I think it'll be a lot easier, but for now it's kind of crazy. So anyways, with that being said, I do have quite a few books that I got in the last month or so. There's 6 review books, 4 review books I got as gifts, 3 audio books I borrowed, and then 4 books I borrowed from the library. So if you add that up, 3, 7, 11 plus 6, 17 books, I think, if I added that right. And I am going to grab, going back over here, so the ones I got as gifts, because I did get those in paperback. All right, so books for review. A lot of these I've read already again, and so I will give mini reviews on the ones that I have read. The first one I got for review was Salt and Broom by Sharon Lynn Fisher. This is already out. It came out beginning of December. This is kind of a Jane Eyre retelling that has some magic and ghosts and fairy in it. I thought it was okay. It was a very quick read. I mean, I liked it. I just didn't love it. For some reason, some of the parts where the main character is doing witchcraft just feel like very displaced with the rest of the story. Like they just kind of feel stuck in there. I didn't feel like the world was built out very well. It wasn't bad. If you like Jane Eyre, I always say that wrong. This is a kind of a fun retelling that's got a little bit of fairy, and the main character is pretty good, and it's fine. The next book I got for review is A Dark and Drowning Tide by Allison Saft. This I got from NetGalley, and it does not come out until September of 2024, which that is really a long time from now, and I have not read this yet. I do know that Saft also wrote A Far Wilder Magic, which I just read last month, and I enjoyed that. I'm very interested to see what her next book is. I think I gave A Far Wilder Magic 4 out of 5 stars, and so we'll see how A Dark and Drowning Tide is. It sounds like it's going to be a little bit of a young adult fantasy romance type of thing, but I could be wrong. All right, the next one I got for review is The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. This doesn't come out until May of 2024, which I don't know why some of these are so far out, but they are. Honestly, I can't remember a lot about that one. It sounded like a cozy fantasy type of read, and I'm into that, so I thought I'd request it for review. The next one I got for review is The Butcher of the Forest by Primi Mohammed. I did just finish reading this last night. This comes out February 27th, so next month. And this was actually pretty good. It's kind of a dark fairy tale about a woman who has rescued a child from the evil woods near her village before, and when the king's children go missing into that forest, she's basically blackmailed. Not even blackmail. He basically says he's going to kill her family if she doesn't go and retrieve his children. So she does that, and she has to go back into these woods that are full of evil fairy creatures and find them. And it was a little bit darker than I thought it was going to be at one point. So there is discussion of sexual violence. There wasn't any of that in there, and it is kind of pretty violent and gory. So I would put more on the fantasy horror fairy tale, really dark fairy tale scale. But I liked it. I think I gave 4 out of 5 stars, and I would recommend it. It's another shorter read. I think it was 160 pages or something like that. So not quite novella length, but also not quite full book length. Okay, next one I got is When Among Crows by Veronica Roth. This comes out May 14th. In our fantasy book, this one I believe is another shorter one. It's a little bit more on the novella length side of things. Again, doesn't come out till May, so kind of long way out there. And then the last one I got for review is The Haunting of Hecate Cavendish by Paula Braxton. This one comes out July 23rd, so pretty far from it now, 6 months out. And I can't remember what it was about, but I'll put a picture of it over here if you want to go read the synopsis of it. I believe it was like a modern paranormal type of book, but I can't remember, and I should have done a little more research before I started doing this video. All right. I did get 4 books for gifts, and I got those all in paperback, so I'll go through those. The first one is Maze Book by Jeff Lemire. This is about a man who works as a public building inspector, and his daughter died of an illness when she was 12, and he is seeing things like his daughter was really into mazes, and he's seeing things around the city and in his dreams, and he's getting these strange phone calls, and he believes that she wants him to solve the maze of the city to find her. And of course it's not that straightforward because she died. So this had a kind of a magical realism feel to it. I thought a little bit of a mystery. I wasn't a huge fan of the illustration style, for example. Like, all the faces are very like sketchy and characterized like that. I generally prefer my graphic novels a little bit more filled out, but there's some cool concepts here, and I enjoyed it. I finished reading this last night as well, and I thought it was good. It, you know, it's a little sad. He lost his daughter, and he's obviously never recovered from that. So there's that. All right, the second one I got as a gift is As Lonely Like the Center of the Earth by Zoe Thorogood. This is supposed to be an autobiography by Zoe Thorogood. I haven't read it. My mom read it. I know she liked it a lot. I haven't read it. I just knew it was supposed to be pretty good, so I put it on my wish list and got it for Christmas. All right, then the third book I got as a gift is the 8th book in the Monstrous series by Sana Togeda and Marjorie Liu. I'm kind of ready for this graphic novel series to be over, to be honest. It's gotten really complicated, and I don't always remember what's going on in here, but I have not read this either. The main reason I picked these up is the artwork in here is absolutely amazing and fantastic. So really, really enjoy that. And then the last one I got for a gift is Thieves by Lucy Bryan. And I don't really remember what this is. I think it's a contemporary, like, young adult love story type of thing, but it's got a very cartoony I think there was a swear word on that page. Very cartoony graphic novel style, and I've just heard it's kind of a cute, funny book, and so I had it on my wish list, and I got it for Christmas, not my birthday. All right, so those are the 4 I got for gifts. Then I did borrow 3 audiobooks from my library over the last few weeks. The first one of these is The Book of the Most Precious Substance by Sarah Gran. I'm not sure why I had this on my wish list, and if I had known more about what it was about, I don't think I would have read it. But it's about a woman who had a very brief stint as a successful author. Her husband develops some sort of dementia, and she ends up putting most of her resources and taking care of him, and she stops writing. And then she finds out that there's a customer that wants this really expensive. So she's working, instead of writing books, she's working as a bookseller and selling used books. And there's this customer that wants this really expensive, rare book. And she decides to work with one of the other booksellers she knows to try and find it. And I guess maybe I'll leave it there, because the whole thing, I thought it was going to be like more dark magic and sorcery type of stuff, but it's more like she goes on this like sexual quest through a lot of exotic locations, trying to hunt down this book, which dictates, and you find this out pretty early in the book, but basically dictates a number of sex acts that you need to perform to get what you want. And yeah, that's it. That's kind of what it's about. And I didn't realize that that's what it was about. I guess I thought there was going to be more magic and interesting thing here. I would almost give this more of a like mystery thriller / magical realism, because I don't know that there's like it's hinted at that maybe the things they're doing is creating some magic stuff, but it felt to me more like a contemporary fiction book about a woman's like sexual exploration and exploits that help her like find herself and find her creativity again. I didn't really like it. I didn't review it very well, and I don't think I went in knowing enough about that one. So, but if you're into that thing, if you really like reading about a lot of sex and a lot of just traveling from place to place and this woman trying to like, there's the thing that bothered me the most about it, I think, and I don't mean to spend too much time on this book, is that there's a lot of foreshadowing in the beginning of the book about how awful like finding this book and all this made her life. And at the end, she doesn't seem that unhappy with everything that's happened. So I don't understand like all this doom and gloom foreshadowing. I don't understand why it was there, because by the end, she seems fine with everything that happens. But whatever. I don't know. If that sounds interesting to you, go for it. I think it, I don't have any idea why I had that on my wish list, to be quite honest. Who knows? All right. Then the next book I read, I actually read because I had read a book called The Dream Quest of Philip Bow. And that was based off of a H.P. Lovecraft book called The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadeth. So I got the Dream Quest of Unknown Kadeth for audiobook, which is by H.P. Lovecraft. You know, I love H.P. Lovecraft's like Cthulhu mythos and the dark gods and all of that, the world building. But it's always really hard for me to listen to or read. This one was also pretty hard to listen to, just because there's so many names of the old gods in here. The adjectives are there's like so many of them. It's such a dense read. And I have trouble, like a lot of times I listen to audiobooks while I'm driving, and I have trouble like focusing hard enough to catch all the descriptions and stuff that was going on. But this is, I guess, one of his more accessible novellas, and it's about the characters mentioned in Filippo, but I'm Richard, somebody, oh God, what was his name? The main character goes on this quest through the dreamlands trying to find an old god or something like that, and he finds what he was looking for, I guess, after a bunch of adventures. I don't know. It was a pretty straightforward, this guy went on an adventure and then he came home kind of thing. So there are some ironic like truths he uncovers throughout that, but it was very hard for me to listen to and take everything in while I was driving. All right, and then the last audiobook I borrowed is one that I'm listening to right now, and that is This Wicked Fate, which is the second book in the This Poison Heart duology by Kaylin Bayron. This is a young adult kind of paranormal mythology series that I really enjoyed the first book in, and I'm in the middle of the second book right now, and I'm enjoying that as well. All right, then I got 4 books from the library. The first one is A Far Wilder Magic by Allison Saft. I actually got this because I got A Dark and Drowning Tide for review, and I had remembered like, oh, you know, I never did read A Far Wilder Magic, and I wanted to. This is about a girl whose mom has kind of abandoned her in this house, and she's been living by herself. Her mom is an alchemist, and she just doesn't really know what to do with herself when this young man shows up who is an alchemist who wants to apprentice to her mother. And she's like, I have no idea where my mom is, but you can hang out if you want. And they end up joining a hunt to find and kill this mythological beast in the forest. It's a mythological monster that destroys all their crops and everything every once in a while. And whoever slays it wins a big prize, gets the alchemical components from the beast and everything. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, and it was well done. Some parts of the book were a little inconsistent. I didn't love any of the characters, but I did enjoy like all the alchemy in there and all that kind of thing. All right. Second one I got from the library is The Scourge Between the Stars by Ness Brown. This one I think I gave 3 out of 5 stars. 3 out of 5 stars, sorry. If you like the movie Alien, this is basically a retelling of Alien. In some of the scenes, it seems almost verbatim. It was fine. I enjoyed reading it. It's very violent and gory, and it's basically a retelling of the movie Alien. And so if you want to read that, go for it. All right, and then the next one I got from the library is Divinity 36, which is the first book in the Tinkered Star Song series by Gail Carriger. I'm a pretty big Gail Carriger fan, although I will say that sometimes her writing style seems to lack a little polish. I enjoy the quirky characters. I enjoy all the humor. So I was really excited to see that she was starting the science fiction series. And I absolutely love Divinity 36. It's about a refugee barista who gets pulled in by an alien to become a demigod. They want this person, because he's a decent singer, to come and compete for position in what they call a pantheon, which is a group of, I'm gonna get it wrong, I think it's six other people who perform, and the performance is a mixture of dancing, skin color shifting, music that gets projected on this giant dome. It's a big entertainment industry. But this guy basically has never had anything going for him in his life, and he's a pretty quiet guy who doesn't like people very much. But ironically, he ends up kind of holding his team together. And it was just really well done. It's a really interesting world. There's a lot of interesting science fiction stuff going on in here. And the characters are very quirky and just absolutely lovable. There's a lot of humor. It's very cute and cozy. I mean, if there was a cozy science fiction genre, which I guess maybe there is now, this would be a book I would recommend. I ended up giving this 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I just thought it was such a fun, feel-good, humorous little science fiction novel. And for some reason, I don't know why, I really like reading science fiction in like January, February. I feel like every year I go and I read a whole bunch of science fiction. So yeah, I really like that. And that leads me to the last book I borrowed from the library, and that is Demigod 12. This is the second book in the Tinkered Star Song series by Gail Carriger, and I have not started reading it yet. I just got it from the library today because I was on wait list, but I will be reading it as soon as I get done with the book I'm currently reading. So I'm currently reading A Tempest of Tea, and I have barely started it, so I'm not going to comment on that. But there you go. That was kind of long because I did a lot of mini reviews, but those are the 17 books that I got in the last few weeks, and I've definitely made my way through most of them. So there you go. Those are the books I got. With that, I'm not going to do a life update. I did that kind of lengthier one in my best books of December. So if you want to hear about that, go check out that post. About halfway through, I think I went through stuff that's going on with the 2 houses and everything else. Nothing bad. Everything's been fine. It's just been very busy. I've been kind of exhausted and having a little bit of trouble keeping up with everything, just because doing all the work on the house kind of takes a lot out of me. So all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got a lot of great books to read over Christmas, and I hope that you have a wonderful month of reading, and I will talk to you later. Bye.